Oh, Christmas.
Oh boy.
Christmas it's far away, man. It's still November.
It's not far.
They're already advertising it in stores.
I saw my first Christmas
As soon as
commercial.
Halloween gets done, it's just like, fucking put away the masks.
Yeah.
Get the trees.
Boys and girls.
They already have I think they already brought the Christmas tree into the Grove. Pretty sure.
Really?
What?
Yeah, I think they already have that ready to go.
The Christmas tree. Last year they had like Santa's workshop
Yeah.
there.
He was in there. That's where he lives.
Yeah. That's home base. Santa went LA.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Well, he gets away in the colder
It should be a
months.
sweatshop then.
Yeah. I mean, God knows what the temperatures in there. It's just like a plaster building. There's no way that's code. No way it's regulation.
No.
Santa doesn't give a fuck about OSHA.
Yeah.
Well, oh no. It's elves. No. We replaced those with Taiwanese women years ago.
Boys and girls of every age, would you like to watch Stranger Things? It's sort
you
of
can't.
strange.
That's cool. That's like the ABC Family 20-second spot ad. You know what I mean? Like 6 hours of Stranger Things this weekend.
From 1997.
Yes.
Oh my God.
God, that guy probably got paid like $500. Like some dude in some North Hollywood apartment or West Hollywood apartment got paid $500 to write some jingle that was stuck in our head forever.
I mean, I wonder how many of those jingles across multiple channels that we know and love from our childhoods were just written by one guy.
Oh, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or at least a handful.
Yeah.
We're recording, Dane. Thanks.
Like all of the kids WB ones.
Oh, they're on the outside. Robert, flick that light switch for fuck's sake.
Oh, I wonder, what do I do?
Flick both of
My
them.
wonder ball.
Thank you.
Who knows a browser on a ball can hide? Yummy tasty chocolate with candy shapes inside.
Oh, I wonder what's in Stranger Things. Welcome to Reasonable B. My name is Stranger E Things. I'm here with
Two.
Strange
Fringser.
Strom things there. And joining us, special all the way from Seoul, Korea, is
How do you say it?
What? South Korea.
Seoul,
he's
Stranger
trying to say the
Things.
city.
Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
Seoul.
Yeah, Seoul.
Seoul. The city of Seoul.
Who is it?
It's
City of Seoul.
It's
Seth King.
Hi.
AKA Achillios, AKA the voice of a nation, Liz Nation. Welcome, Overwatch fans that I have attracted to the podcast through the name recognition. Please give to our Patreon. I know you nerds.
I thought you were gonna
You nerds throw
introduce
money at like some.
Instead of buying
Every
those loot
idiot-
boxes,
yeah.
subscribe to our Patreon.
How about you could buy a loot box or you could support podcasting.
Yep.
Think about that. But Seth's here.
Would you rather get that replicant legendary Roadhog skin that you've gotten 7 times?
Oh hell yeah!
Or support
I know what that means.
independent podcasts?
You could have said one of those words just as lost.
You could have said, "Oh,
All of them
would
together?
you rather spend that on?"
Nightmare.
And then static comes out of your mouth, and it would have the exact same effect on me. You're like, yes,
Cool.
yes. Oh God! But Seth King's here. Our very, very old friend Seth King. Welcome.
I'm 25.
Yeah.
I mean he's not. We've known him since we were.
You're 25 now.
Since
Happy
we were
birthday.
I did have my birthday about
happened 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't
just
see
now.
you.
I'm just now
I
hearing
didn't. I don't
about
know
the,
how Korea time works. I didn't know if you were like 4 or 7 months ahead of time.
No, so actually, the way that it's really weird because Koreans actually start at the age of 1. They don't
Whoa.
turn 1.
Oh shit! That's
Whoa.
crazy.
When you're born, you are 1 year old.
What?
So you just start there. So imagine it's like you just get like a Pokemon or you start a character in an MMO. That's kind of just how Koreans are.
Oh, level
That's why
1.
they're so good at video
yeah,
games.
it just makes sense. They're from birth, and like around
Exactly.
level 10,
So-
they're given a profession, and they're told to spec into a certain skill set.
So it's at the start of the new year that your age goes up.
That's true.
So if you were technically,
they lock you in a
I
field,
believe,
yeah.
I could be wrong about this from my limited understanding, but it was explained to me that if you were born, say you were born like December 30th, you'd be 1, and then 2 days later you'd be 2.
That's rad.
What?
So I'm old. Yeah. So I'm older in Korea than I am here. I have my Korean age, and then I have my.
I want to get that phrase on
everywhere
a shirt.
age.
I'm older in Korea. It's an incredible thing to put on a gravestone.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, given some of the things that I've seen
Yeah.
people wear, they wouldn't know what it is, but they probably still wear it.
we watched The Walking Dead. That's The Walking Dead. Oh, we got Stranger Things season 2.
They are kind of similar.
Or Stranger Things 2. Yeah,
One's just synthwave.
they're pretty similar. I mean, like
Stranger
Thing, which is what we all do. For whatever reason, I thought it was about voodoo. Okay, and I thought from the very beginning, I thought it was.
Oh, we were just talking about this, that when the first trailer came out and I saw what this was called, I was like, that's a dumb name. That is a clunky. That does not roll.
And
off
look
the
at you
tongue.
now.
And look at me now. I tattooed it onto my dick.
On my tongue.
Onto my dick.
I tattooed onto my dick on my back. And then under that it says Stranger Things.
Straw. That's weird.
It's true.
Anyway, so we saw Stranger Things, and we didn't do season 1. We didn't do episode of season 1. So this will kind of encompass the whole thing up to this point.
Yeah.
So we just finished season 2.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to talk about all of it?
Like,
No, we'll just cursory talk about the series as a whole, and then we can talk about what we thought about this.
so, episode 1, season 1 at
scene one.
17 minutes into it.
We will
really
begin
appreciate it.
all the continuity errors starting from episode 1. Bill's pants are red, and in the next scene, they are maroon. If you'll notice, they are in fact, I have the color wheel in front of me. They're in fact different. Fucking hash. What's the colors called on like a hex code? God
yeah.
damn it! I could have had that killed that nerd
A select
character.
group of us believe that is now Maroon Big
Big Luke.
Bigger Luke.
Bigger Luke. We covered that on the last episode, right?
I don't think we did talk
Oh my
about
God.
Bigger Luke.
We didn't talk about. Have you heard the Bigger Luke theory?
No, is this the season 2?
No, it has been
Character
Star
from
Wars.
Luke Cage?
Oh my God, no! It's
No.
so there's a fan
Bigger
theory.
Luke.
So in the time between the original trilogy and the new trilogy, fan theories of Star Wars were fucking insane, right? And so,
I would say that Star Wars fans have always been fucking insane.
but it's kind of like the Bible. Like those people read. If you read the Bible enough, eventually it's like, yeah, let's fucking kill our parents. Like that. It says it right here.
you
very
don't have
clearly.
to go very far.
Very clearly.
Open up Leviticus, and everyone you've ever known should die.
Chapter 1.
But anyway, so like, there's a fan theory that sometimes Luke is shorter than Han, and other times Luke is taller than Han. And there's a theory that this is in fact a different character, and this
I see where
character
we're going
is
now.
Bigger Luke, which is in fact a different character who replaced regular Luke, and Bigger Luke is more attuned to the dark side. So that's why we see Bigger Luke through the second half.
And now that Han, where we have Luke in this next one,
Right.
in this next movie, but Han is gone. And Han, in this theory, was always the unit of measurement.
Yeah.
It was how much taller
How many
or
Hans?
shorter-
So now we don't even, we
now
have
we have
no
idea.
gauge.
We don't
on
know if Luke died. That could be Bigger Luke this whole
could
time.
be Bigger Luke. I mean, if you notice, there's the light side and the dark side poster. The light side is regular Luke. Dark side, Bigger Luke.
Bigger Luke is a little taller.
This is going to be the final reveal of Bigger Luke. See, that's a ridiculous fan theory, but actually in canon is Luke Skywalker, who is a clone of Luke Skywalker, because he's the 6th clone, so they gave him 6 U's.
Is that real?
That's 100% real.
Luke.
I
have
Skywalker.
a theory
Google that on
about Stranger
Wikipedia.
Things because I have this is real. I don't usually think this way, but like I do wonder because one of the things that's always not always confused me, but is interesting is that in the Upside Down, all the structures from our world are there. The people are there, obviously, and there's not like doppelganger people, but all of our buildings are there, and like inside of your house is the inside of the house, and in the inside of the school. Is like, did the Mind Flayer already like take one of our dimensions and kill everybody, and he's just been jumping to Earth to Earth to Earth to Earth, or is it literally like the negative of a picture and we're just like not there? And do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an interesting theory. I think they do say that it's like a dark echo of our world, right? That's kind of like the
Right.
It's all the.
But then that's like I don't need an answer to this, but that's the stuff that makes me go like, but then why are there not people? Like, why did only our physical things that we build are what translated into this?
Why are there no? Why is it just that and Demodogs over there?
Demodogs. Doug Demodogs. Owner of the
Demodogs.
the dims.
You found my Demodogs.
Yes, right.
Jesus, that's right. You found my long lost son.
Great hat.
They don't live at home.
Great hat gag in that.
Yes.
Oh,
Of his, like, it's never on. Like, even
you
when
never see the top, and then it cuts to him on a cliff, and it's off the top of the screen.
Oh, it's like 60 feet in the air. That's such a good gag. Yes. Shout out to.
But
to
anyway,
Butch
yeah,
Hartman.
the Upside Down, the dark world.
Well, but that's the kind of the whole thing about the show is that you have to suspend your disbelief because the show itself is a dark echo of every trope from horror movies, which is like the point of the thing, right? It's supposed to be.
Sure.
It's an original story with reassembled pieces.
Starting with stereotypes and and diverging
Tropes.
Yeah, you start with these people, these archetypes of we've seen these characters before, and then everyone's like a little different. It's a little bit not what you think.
Right.
Steve Harrington is a sweetheart in the
Yeah, he's
nicest
great.
You
way
think
possible.
that
would
he's going to be the
he-
big dick,
right?
But
And then all it is that he just
Steve Harrington.
has
yeah.
a big.
Okay, big
Exactly.
dick, yes. That's the. If you notice, every time he's on screen,
You never see off the
never see the.
stick.
It always goes down. Yes.
And then there's that shot of him on the cliff.
It's like, and his dick's like 60 feet down. It's a great gag. It's
It's a
really
great
good.
game. Shout outs to Fairly
Down
Odd.
the leg of his jeans, shooting. Yes,
Oh,
but Steve is
Christ.
great. Steve is a sweetheart. We're pro Steve household here.
Yeah,
we like
big
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah, but this show has a rabid, crazy fandom.
Yeah, oh,
and,
yeah.
and I wonder why. And I think maybe it's just because it features very talented young actors that people can relate to. Because it is a younger audience, right?
Taps that nerve of. I hate because I also feel like it's not fair when this gets exclusively boxed in as a pastiche or as just a tribute or just
Right.
a thing. Like it kind of like annoys me. It's like no, it was starting with flavors.
You
and
can
you've
thank
seen-
the marketing though. Like I mean,
yeah.
isn't that the
well, no,
from
it's
season
not,
one?
It's
from
not
the jump?
hiding from being
Yeah.
Right.
It,
Stephen
it clearly
King,
is that, but there's
Spielberg,
much
yeah,
more to
like-
this.
Yeah, and it just annoys me when it gets written off as like just a copy of things and like not. Because it's like, dude, whatever. It's starting from. It's the same thing of starting with any genre. Like we've seen.
Yeah, like
the
any
spooky
fantasy thing,
Yeah, like and then you do something a little different. The characters are a little different, and the stories are a little different, and it's also smashing together things you haven't. You've never seen all these things in one thing before.
Sure.
and that's kind of
All
also
these
the
strange
point.
things.
Yeah, all these strange,
collectively
stranger.
they're a
thing.
stranger
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. And I kind of want to like it's a similar thing with of like mashing up these familiar things for a new thing with the New Mutants that's coming out. I just saw that trailer.
Yeah, I mean,
Just like very interesting
without
to
the
finally
mutant
do that.
element. Without the mutant thing, though, that I will take issue with because honestly though, like I think it's just a bad. I don't really like that trailer,
Right.
But it's like without them saying in the beginning, "Hey, this is about mutants."
You
in
would just think it's a
Marvel,
regular
I would
ass
just be like, whatever
horror movie.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of why I'm curious to see what happens with it.
totally.
I'm very
Totally.
curious to see how that plays out because I mean that could be. I mean, like I've heard people go like, well, superhero movies, like superhero and powers, like that's not going to mesh with like a horror movie. Well, what's any horror movie? Like there's always some
Right,
kind.
there's a-
If
someone
there's a
has a-
supernatural
yeah.
element, somebody's got powers. Like all that's different is that they're X-Men in this one.
Right.
Like and coming to terms with the true horror of what a mutant power would be like.
Yeah.
I think that's a fucking rad.
Yeah,
idea.
I'm in. I love. Don't get me wrong. I love what that's up to. I
Yeah.
just remember, like when I watched the trailer, I was kind of like, you're not even really trying to look
Right.
like a cool, like a whatever. But point being, I like it. I like Stranger Things. I realize in this season specifically that I legitimately do. Like I love it, and
Right.
I didn't necessarily feel that way finishing. Like I loved it when I was watching the first season, and I wanted to just keep going. But then this one really
Yeah.
slipped. I'm like,
Bring me
no,
more.
I'm into this.
This season has a way of leaning into fan expectations of the characters without being obnoxious about it. Because I think they really did listen to the audience reaction and gave people time, like more time, like with Steve, like making Steve like more of a prominent thing. Like they listen to fans, people like Steve, and then they dug into Steve, but didn't make it like obnoxious.
No,
I thought it was really. This is an interesting way to look at a show really responding to fan criticism. If nothing else, like that. This is a perfect example of they're very plugged into what their audience wants.
The one thing I think that was a little bit obnoxious was, everyone was kind of like, why is Nancy with Steve? Like, she should be with, Will's brother?
Right.
Yeah, it's funnier
Nancy,
to
like,
make fun of his
Nancy
misfortune.
not ending up with Steve instead of Jonathan at the end of season 1 was something people had a big outcry about. And I feel like they're like, how do we write Nancy into Jonathan's arms? And it just turned Nancy into this really
Right.
annoying fucking character.
I
That's true.
definitely I liked her less in this season.
Yeah, I liked her a lot in season 1. I thought
too.
she was great.
And
She seemed to
And I didn't
lack some
mi- like,
agency in this one.
I mean, like, I liked the I guess some people would consider it a twist that she ends up with Steve at the end and not with Jonathan, and I kind of like that, and I almost wish that they had stuck with it instead of trying to please both sides
By
of the
episode
crowd.
1, they were
Like,
just like, I'm sorry.
yeah, it's like, how do we start off the show to really get people in? Let's make them have relationship issues.
Right.
Yeah, I'm watching the first season explicitly as it was unfolding. I was like, if she ends up with Jonathan, I'm going to be mad because she's
It'd be
been
too
with
perfect.
Steve. Steve's been great. He's been really nice to her. He got the thing happened where his friends spray paint the thing on the theater, and he's the one who goes up and cleans it. And like, yes, he let them do it, and he shouldn't have let them do it.
He has
But
a
then
very clear redemption,
he
though.
owns up to it, yeah, and comes back, saves the day and stuff, and like, let's save the day, but helps to save the day,
Right.
I don't know. Like, I was just like, if she ends up with the dude who genuinely was taking pictures of her undressing, like,
Right.
That's not. It wasn't an accident. Like, I genuinely was like, oh, he's creepy. Like, you shouldn't.
Right.
do
Yeah,
that.
but it's
That's-
okay because he knows how Barb died, and no one else believes them.
And it's one of those things that makes it interesting. It's like, I like when they do stuff like this, where even in giving the bad guy kid in this one, you see his father, and it's
Right.
like, it doesn't excuse how he is, but you're sort of like, oh, I guess that checks out. That makes sense that he has that dad. And this is the same thing of like, oh, he's creepy, and you don't really like that he took those pictures, but he's not evil and not,
Well, it's funny. They kind of use the paranormal investigator as like a stand-in for themselves, where they're like, "Hey, we're about to get these two together. Here's why. Okay, they have shared trauma, right? And they're young, and they went through something together, so they're about to have sex. Okay, go." And then they did. It's like,
and they literally did that, and it was the weirdest part of this entire
but
show.
no, it was, and it makes Steve feel like a cuck. They cucked Steve.
Yeah,
that's
they
it's
did.
really that's what it's all about, and it hurts. It hurts all of
They
us.
cucked Steve, and then that dude got off on teens banging in his apartment.
Yeah, that was weird.
yeah, it's a little weird. But
pressure-
like, I got it that it was like,
But he was like a cool 70s
they tried to play it not as a creepy thing and as just like a almost as more of a peer thing
Sure.
of like, stop fucking around.
They made him seem kind of cool, actually.
He was
Like
cool.
I thought that they would clown on the paranormal investigator guy, but it turns out like he was actually pretty competent.
Yeah.
and I liked it. I like twisting that around because you look at
It's
him,
what
it's
I
like,
mean, yeah.
okay, he's going to be like a creep and he's going to be a sleazeball, but then he's not. He's actually pretty helpful.
Yeah, even though like, oh, did you find out about the aliens probing and whatever? It's like, no, he knows something's up, and
Right. He's just like a
gonna-
little off. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
He's a really bad alcoholic. He's like watering his drinks down.
I know he's not good at it.
He's pretending to have a problem.
Yeah, he just likes it. Makes him look cool. It does. It does make him look cool.
While he's standing there in his bathrobe.
Yeah,
and his,
you
like,
walk
boxers.
around. Hey, he looks cool. It's all right. He's got shit on the walls because he's nuts. Like, it's incredible. Okay, so I'll say this. As a sequel to something, this from scene one made me slightly nervous. Scene one's opening with 8 and her being chased.
Right.
And I was curious, what the fuck are we doing here? Until you see her, 8. And then I was like, oh no. Because these are the sequel things I don't care about. I don't care.
the new one.
There's more
Right.
of them.
I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. I don't need it to be cracked open and that you find out different people with different problems and all these different, like, and then it becomes an X-Men show or it becomes Heroes or
Sure.
whatever. I don't really care. But then immediately after, this is what I was talking about. Is like in the first season, this is like my horror movie thing, my superhero movie, like afterwards problem. This is why I like Iron Man 3 and stuff like this. You would think after all that shit happened to these people that they would just be messed up for the rest of their lives.
Right.
And this in episode 1 is like, they are. And everyone's sad and they're going to keep being sad because that was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like, Will's fucked up still. Everyone's just like, how many scenes in like the first couple episodes are people just like, yeah, this fucking is, wow.
Well, it's brilliant in a way, considering how many people at the end of season 1, myself included, were like, that doesn't need to keep going.
I felt that way
was
too.
like a
Yeah.
complete thought
Yeah.
as like a literally like a concept. So it is, we're going to do a slight pastiche thing, but we're going to twist it and make our own thing with it, and it's going to be
Right.
good. And it exists as a 1-season thing. So when it came back for a second season, immediately justifying why and where it needs to go and how much
Right.
further it can go is a really brilliant move on their part.
Yeah.
The Duffer Brothers.
I mean, they couldn't
Kill them
have,
duffers.
they would not, I don't think they would have been able to pull off having the second season be good if they did just try to go straight back into it and we're like, everyone's happy, but now the darkness is back.
And it's
Right.
back.
Because it had that
Lost
that
the happy.
creeping dread that was good because it
Yeah.
was like, the doctor's like, oh no, with PTSD and everything, like,
Right.
it's the anniversary effect and yada yada yada.
Right.
So it's like good that they
Right.
kind of had that mystery. Like we know, but the characters are like, oh, maybe this is just why things are terrible.
I also
they're just
like-
gonna get better, and then they don't.
Even that element of it, of explaining how would any of these people still be alive if this was like this big government conspiracy like this would have been snuffed out. But I guess the point being is that there were too many of them. If all of a sudden all these people in that town died,
Just fucking disappear.
like they would, of course, that would become.
We found all of them in the water reservoir, just like Will Byers.
And I like that they explained that it's like, no, they had to just be like, okay, they all know they're being watched, but they're allowed to forever just walk around knowing that there's other dimensions and monsters come out of them sometimes. Like,
But then
I like that. And then they explain him having to go in for these checkups at the facility. Like, it's like, well, of course, they wouldn't just let the kid.
Yeah.
But then
Keep
we also
walking
see that
around.
they are all being watched like very closely by the dark figures, the silhouettes, the silhouettes that are just sitting in the room with all the monitors, like, listening to conversations, just smoking the cigarettes.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, that's like a very classical, like 60s CIA's listening paranoia kind of thing. I thought that was really rad. And things. I like this show, right? I think it definitely picks up in the second half. For sure. For this season.
But
this first season never sold me.
Oh, I see.
I wasn't ever really on board. I kind of like, yeah, it's okay. And even this was kind of like a slog to get through at times, just because I found myself not... Like, a lot of this season is predicated on you giving a shit about last season. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the character relationships are like, do you remember these relationships that we established and how important this is? Now we're going to break it down. Which is like what
that's what I like.
a good sequel should do, right?
Do you remember how Nancy didn't end up with Jonathan?
Exactly. So now we're gonna address that. I think it was good.
Yeah.
And it like hit all the buttons that it was supposed to hit, and I think it's like a good thrill ride. It's like a good time. I just don't know if it like breaks the mold enough for me, especially with how good TV is right now. You know what I mean? Like, TV is so fucking insane right now. It's just such like a...
I wouldn't know.
It's definitely a watchable show. Like, this falls into that popcorn cat. We're running into these weird popcorn TV shows, right? With like the rise of Netflix, and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, like... I don't know. It's interesting because it's like they're like not hiding that they want it to feel like almost like a movie. Like, it doesn't. It's weird that it's episodic, but it doesn't feel like episodes of a thing. It feels like a really long. I mean, that's why they call them chapters. I guess it kind of feels like a book. It kind of feels like a one.
Right.
And they don't call this Stranger Things season two. It's called Stranger Things 2.
Yeah.
On Netflix.
What are we gonna do? Because it's the same monster from season 3. How can we?
Yeah.
How can we differentiate?
I hope that they
Stranger Things 2 season 2.
I hope there's a bigger jump in time. I almost kind of hope they skip next year, like, and we have to wait a little longer for it to come back.
It definitely shouldn't just be every year the fucking, the Demogorgon tries to come back and do some shit. It should absolutely be like, here they are, 2-3 years later. Everyone thinks that things are calmed down. They finally have a normal life. Oh, hey, surprise! Like,
yeah,
this dude's been he's been breaking through the gate.
Right, and I do.
He's got his fucking toothbrush, prison style, digging through the wall or something.
I will say I don't like the sequel thing of the Demogorgon was the scariest thing, and you kind of are led to believe in the first season that it is it is scary and it's smart and it is jumping around trying to grab people.
It's actually one of these creatures that we just saw fully evolve.
Right. And
then
like
there's like 100 of them in season 2.
So many of them, and really what it is was that they're a hive mind and there's a bunch of them. And like I like the Duffer Brothers explained it as like, the Demogorgon was like Jaws, it was like a shark that's just bobbing in and out of the water, pulling people under the water into the upside down. And it's just like it's just a monster. It just wants to eat people, and that's it. And now we have this thing that's sort of a little more
like a super
sneaky,
shark, like a bigger shark,
really, with
like a
huge
Sharknado.
giant shark.
It's a huge shark. It's a regular shark, but he wears a lab coat and he's got like a huge swollen head.
Yeah, we just now. So the question is, how much bigger of a shark can we do in season 3? Because we already took a shark and went bigger than that shark, and now we're just. I mean, it's a mystery we've yet to crack.
Well, I mean, it's amazing that they pulled it off.
Are you one of the Duffer Brothers? No, I'm not. No.
You saw how bad the Jaw sequels were, so kudos to them for getting away with the bigger shark.
I mean, who knows? Because you know what? The first season ended, and I didn't have faith in how it could continue, and then I was pleasantly surprised with this big time. I will say I didn't
like it at all.
I didn't like. I don't love 11 as a character that carries a storyline necessarily. Like I found myself, and we can talk about the infamous episode 7 in a second here, but like I even in the episodes where it was stuff happening in between other things, like her finding her mom and it doesn't,
Sure.
for some reason, I'm not compelled by that. And maybe here's probably why,
we're
is
not
because we
seeing her
know
grow.
the mom. I already knew, I was remembering as she was going and was trying to go find her mother, I was like, didn't we already find out her mom's like brain dead or something? And we know how this ends up.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I just wasn't like, I was
Right.
kind of just waiting for those parts of the story
And
to go
look,
away.
I understand that, like, yes, so there is something to her traveling and learning these things, but we don't really ever see like a drastic change in her character or her personality.
She's
Like, she
dressed like a
understands
goth
she's
now.
wrong at the end and like apologizes and knows she can't be a brat. But it's like, I wanted to see her really mature into adulthood at that point.
And she does in a lot of ways, but I think it's maybe just by virtue of like the character itself. And I was so charmed by her in that first season. I was like, this kid is so fucking good. She's doing that creepy, quiet kid thing, and like she barely speaks. She says like one word at a time, and she was pulling it off in like, you know that thing where sometimes you hear an actor say a line and you're like, I know what that looked like on the page, and it looked poopy,
Right.
And they somehow pulled it off. You know what I mean? It's like the George Clooney thing of like he just throws a line away and it works. Like, it's just something that could have sounded really stupid.
Sure.
I don't know. Like, I really appreciate that when people are able to do that. And then in this, like, I was a little tired of her being impossible to talk to, or like she just didn't understand stuff, or it's the stoicness or something. At a certain point, that's not enough for me to like be totally propelled by the direction she's moving.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that's why, like, then it was a breath where we got back to, Dustin trying to find Dart or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Sorry. Dart Agnew. Oh man, that made me really sad because it showed that the creatures are smart. They're like, but they're
did
just
love
under
it.
the control.
He did. Dart absolutely like loved Dustin, and he trusted him and wanted him to keep feeding him and stuff.
Yeah.
He didn't like hate him. He wasn't trying to kill Dustin. And then Dustin kicks him into a basement.
Yeah.
Wanted to kill everybody else.
I felt so bad, and they gave him such a sad little squeal when he kicks him and he falls into the fucking basement. That's just
And he's
sad.
just laying there dead next to the nougat at the end. I'm like, I didn't need to see that.
Yeah, that really-
This show is kind of mean. Like they stab you and then twist the knife every chance. Like with the cat, with Bob, like it's never just like, oh no, that happened. It's like, we're gonna focus on it for a second. You're gonna see what the fuck just happened.
Yeah, and I appreciate that to an extent. Like, it's funny.
It's a horror move. It's a very horror-y move. Like, because otherwise, I feel like if we didn't have those moments, it would be more of a sci-fi show, and it's not. It kind of always keeps its horror tone, even when they have the upper hand. There's always like a powerlessness, like a horror tone to it, and I hate it. Like, the show sucks.
It is cool, man. Like, even
It's well crafted. It's just like for whatever reason, I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, I
doesn't
appreciate
grab you.
it. Just doesn't. It's not for me, and that's totally fine because I can sit here and appreciate the craft of it and enjoy the story.
I do
heard, but
find myself.
I'm not invested.
And I felt this way after I finished the first season too. Was I found myself wishing that it was just one movie that I could go back and revisit.
Right.
Because even watching just with you these last couple episodes, like, I was a little anxious, or just a little like. Which is weird when something's only 9 episodes anyway. It's like,
That's 9 hours. 9 hours of your time.
yeah, but it's like, it's weird that even that at all, like, just feels like exhausting, or like you just kind of want the thing to happen that's going to happen. And I don't think it's necessarily the show's fault. I think it's like more what I'm looking for.
Sure.
In a
And that's what
partner.
YouTube is for.
Right. You just go back and watch the cool
Yeah,
scenes.
you just watch the cool
Oh, I
scenes
love
that you
watching
wanna
fights,
watch.
dude.
Yeah.
I go back and watch fights all the time.
Yeah, me too. I can't top 25 DBZ fights
Sick, yeah.
all the time. There's only
Mayweather
20
versus
fights in the
McGregor,
show.
you
So,
know.
do you want to talk about the episode you guys skipped because everybody said it was bad?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I saw every
I
little
skipped
second of
episode
it.
7 because everyone said it was unrelated and it's pretty
Yeah.
much there to just build the universe. So I skipped it.
I definitely didn't like it, but it's a big. It took a big swing. It was trying to do something nuts at the end of this season, and just be
Right.
like, hey, check out this little flavor. Here's a different texture. We're just gonna go visit that for a minute.
Well, it's funny because there was a very similar episode in Fargo this season where Carrie Coon's character just kind of goes to L.A. to investigate because like her father-in-law gets murdered and she's like trying to find his
we
murderer.
don't. It's just.
It was whatever. It like the point is that.
Whoever is watching this that has seen Fargo will be like,
Well,
yeah,
no,
Tim's
no.
right. But
No,
I
here's what I'm
just
saying,
have
where it's
no
like,
clue.
she's like trying to investigate his murder.
Sure.
It turns out it's totally wrong lead. So it's just she just goes to
there
Los
for
Angeles, and you have this episode of her like learning about her stepfather-in-law that was
Right.
killed, and it's just like, okay, that's her story. That's just a story for her, and then she comes back
Yeah.
as like slightly changed,
And I
that's
like
very similar.
that idea for
Right.
sure. And that's why I at least like I can't say necessarily like hate it, but it doesn't. I just think it doesn't work. I think objectively speaking, it does not do exactly what they wanted it to do, and I think a lot that is largely in part of like the characters that she's with
Right.
when she's there. I didn't find interesting at all. I
Right.
thought they were all goofy. They were literally like that.
Right. They dipped into a CW show somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got a
Watch the
glimpse.
clips.
We
So
got
flat,
a glimpse
really.
of what this show could have been if they didn't do what I said earlier, which is like start with stereotypes and then never go farther, never turn it a little. Because
Right.
all those characters were just like, I know this person, like I've seen this 100 times, and it weirdly became like a bad episode of Heroes. That
Right.
episode where she's like, you have to focus your power. Don't focus on the train and how heavy the train is. Focus on being good at your power. And you're like,
Cool.
sick,
Great.
I get it. Like
Superhero angle.
it's one of those weird things of like I understand that we needed a beat of her learning how to focus her powers a little better, how to be better, be strong enough to
Yeah.
close the damn thing. But like I didn't need someone to stand next to her and tell her that.
Right.
I need like I don't know.
Maybe she
really-
learns it with Mama. Like maybe she learns it when she's inside her mom's head and like
Right. Yeah.
like has a conversation
neat.
with her. And yeah, I mean, I read an interview where they said they were defending the 7th episode and they're like, well, we just wanted to spend more time with the character. I mean, like we had this time in the show set aside that we weren't using, and it's like we just wanted to explore something else with the show for just a moment.
Which is cool.
And it's very similar to what like I said, the episode of Fargo, like a lot of people had a similar reaction. Like, why was that there? Like that was completely unrelated to the plot.
Yeah.
Because everyone's itching to see the new thing. It's a little bit different when it's week to week and a little more frustrating when you could just this is Netflix, so you can
Right.
skip to it. But I totally see what they're talking about. But at the same time, saying like, this is my canvas. Like we can do what we want. This is our show. It's like, don't be an asshole.
I don't
Like,
I
I
think
think
they're being an ass. I
but
just
but like
genuinely
if you
think
take if you take the work as a whole, there's like one big piece that's like, oh, that's weirdly out of place.
I mean, I know
Brings the whole thing down
the
slightly.
whole episode is just about her going and meeting eight and
But
like
yeah,
these
I can't
other-
really
these other
talk shit
people,
on it.
right?
Yes.
So,
But I can't see
the
it.
thing that for me that I'm somewhat glad that I didn't actually watch that episode is that would break one of my favorite things about this show, which is the pacing and how it keeps up with the multiple storylines. I think that that's actually one of the
Yeah.
things that they do incredibly well, where I like.
Sure.
I will I'll have those moments where like, oh man, I really want to know what's going on with fucking Bob or something like that.
Yeah, right.
But then they always get back to it at a time where like,
You're like, oh, good.
yeah, I haven't been waiting too
Right.
long, but it's like it's kind of just exiting my mind because now I'm thinking about this other thing, but then it comes back in
Right.
and it refreshes me, and I'm just like, oh shit, yeah, like I want to know what happens at this point, and that's one of the things that is really was one of the original things that they did well in season 1 and carried through into season 2 that I really appreciate. So I think if I watched episode 7 and it was just nothing but these fucking guys and then nothing to do with everything happening back at Hawkins, I'd probably be like, take me back to the town.
If
could've
you notice,
worked.
every single storyline that you come back to now has like a different twist to it or something for everyone there. So like so a lot of people were annoyed with Winona Ryder's character last year, just thought she was like kind of crazy and like, jittery, and that's my son, like that's her whole
yeah,
arc last
yeah.
year. So they add Bob, who is like a sense of levity and just like kind of a
Right.
like a return to earth for her.
And then they
I thought
fucking
that was-
killed him.
And I thought that was really great. Yeah, I mean,
I still don't like love her. I think
Right.
I've noticed the sour notes in this.
but
I
what I
have
was going to
more
say, she's the
performance.
closest one, the one I have come closest to not giving a shit about that storyline.
Yeah.
But still, they managed to make me like it. I'm sorry. So her performance.
I was just gonna say like I think even again this episode 7 thing has a lot to do with just the people in it they're not good. Like they kind of like I don't really like their performances. They're like I think that because that episode 7 happens right after the Demodogs are coming up and they're about to be at the lab, and this is like we know we're at the final fuck. Here they come, right?
The final fuck.
The final fuck.
Final fuck, and that's what the episode was called, aptly. So I'm glad they made that move.
Yeah.
That could have felt like, what's happening at the lab? And then you get sort of like distracted by how compelling these people are and this weird world that Eleven's in. And then if it was good and we got why it was good and compelling and why it was comforting to 11, and you're like, oh, but she should go back because they all need her right now.
Right.
But fuck, I get why she would want to stay here. But that's not how you feel at all. And I think that was what they wanted. But all you're feeling the whole time is like, just go back, stop. These people are boring.
Right.
People
Yeah.
are dicks.
I mean,
Yeah,
it really
I don't know,
does
man.
feel like a stealth pilot, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's
And I don't
fucking,
like-
I
dude-
hate saying it like I've seen it, but like that's really what I've heard about it.
Yeah, that's what he said. And I mean, that's what the one of the quotes of them was like, that we kind of sneak a pilot for a different show in this show, and that's like a weird thing to do. And again, I very much appreciate that.
But you know what? It's a very 80s thing to do. That shit happened all the time in sitcoms on the 80s where there'd just be a rogue episode of like, oh, hey, crazy cousin Ronnie's here. And he's like, hey, guys, I'm a single guy trying to make it in San Francisco. And it's like, okay, I see what's going on.
Yeah, I'd watch a
here.
show with that guy.
Yeah.
Does he have a show?
And I'm live at 9 p.m. on
And
Tuesdays.
it'll be the episode will be like about him,
Right.
And then, well, if you want to follow Ronnie's adventures, head on down to whatever.
And I get it. I think it's just the idea is not bad. I think it is not good. I
Right.
think that it's not, the writing's bad. And like, if that was the first episode of a show, I don't think I'd keep watching it. I'm not joking. I'm not lying. Like, it would just feel like are we doing another Powers show?
Honestly,
Another-
how many times have we seen the show of like a bunch of outcasts with powers running away from a force?
in a cool warehouse?
And they all have cool clothes. It's goddamn, man.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't. The cool thing about powers is the vulnerability, right? To see somebody with powers still be incredibly vulnerable. So like, I don't know. That's why I'm into this New Mutants thing. I'm very curious to see,
Yeah.
just like see somebody fucking get murked.
I do like that baby Venom line, or baby Snake Venom line in the,
Oh,
in the
yeah,
trailer.
yeah.
That's cool. I'm like, that's the movie. I see.
okay,
I see what we're doing. Okay, cool,
I don't know
cool,
anything about this show.
Baby Venom.
Baby Venom. Yeah, there's baby.
That's-
You know, like Venom.
Yeah.
He's a baby in this.
Well, they're
Okay.
talking about like how are they gonna make Venom fit into the new Spider-Man universe? They don't even have it's like no. It's fitting into the Boss Baby.
Yeah,
universe.
baby.
Yeah.
Baby
It's all,
Venom.
they're
Yeah.
putting it.
Venom baby.
Yes.
Perfect.
But yeah, man. I mean, I think largely it's. I cared about. I think everyone. It's hard. This is one of those shows where it dips in and out, and it's hard for me to be objective about it because it is so up my alley in so many ways that a lot of the times that I find myself just wanting to jump episode to episode. It's kind of like I just want to know what happens now. I want to know what happens next. And I do like the characters. And obviously, if I didn't like any of the characters, I would be turning it off.
Right.
And the plot wouldn't be enough. But like, I just find
And the
myself
kids are
being
great.
like, oh, this is just cool. Like, I'm so stoked by the idea of a bunch of people in some shitty little town who get to walk around knowing that like there's monsters in the universe can
Yeah.
rip in half sometimes.
And they're trying to eat like cereal and shit, and just be like, "Did you
Yeah.
finish your toast?"
yeah. Like, and I love that. I love
Demogorgon
I
comes out
love
of the
them-
cereal box.
I love Joyce like
Gorgos.
being paranoid that it's gonna happen to Will again, and like that she takes him everywhere and she picks him up from school, and
Right.
like I like that. I'm like, okay, cool. That's to me is like you're dealing with. I love consequences. I've said it a million times. I love when you do the thing and then we need to sit for a second and think about why it matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they do that in spades in this.
Because if we do shit that doesn't matter, what's the point in doing nothing at all?
Well, I mean, it's a sequel. Again, Iron Man 3 does that, where it was like that was the first one after the Avengers, and it's like
and he's fucked up
we
now.
kind of need to deal with the fact that Tony Stark lived on what was essentially our Earth until this happened. You know what I mean? Like, and now he's gonna be like fucking devastated.
Yeah.
I've never seen Iron Man 3
You
actually.
should watch it, man. It's good.
It's really good. It's very good.
It's good. It gets a weird.
It's just a good movie in
I'm
general.
so bad with keeping up with superhero films.
It's
Like I
just-
haven't
then
seen.
keep up with it as a Shane Black film because that's what it is. It's very funny. It's very good. It's very funny. It's probably the better Iron Man.
Shane Black, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
He directed it?
Yes.
Yeah. And wrote
Lethal
it.
Weapon.
Now I'm going to watch that.
It's so fucking good. It's very funny. It takes place at Christmas, of course.
Yeah, it's true. I forgot about that.
What were we talking about?
He loves
I'll have-
Christmas.
I'll have to-
Stranger Thing.
I'll have to look at it.
So these kids,
Fucking great.
I am endlessly impressed by these kids.
Yeah.
And they must have filmed it right after they filmed season 1, right? They must have filmed
it
it back
wasn't-
because they looked very
I
similar.
think there's a bit of a. break.
Honestly, I thought they looked older. Like I was, because every time they did a flashback to the other season, I was like, oh shit, they look like
Really?
even tinier. I didn't realize.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I guess they still dress them up.
I
like-
know that they were shooting, I think in like a year ago they started.
Okay.
Like November or October of last year.
Yeah. But yeah, so like a cult of personality is popped up around those kids, Finn Wolfhard specifically, and they're really great. They're very funny, and they're great with the press, and they're just good actors too. It's just like it seems like a really great show to work on. Even if
Yeah.
even if it's not critically the greatest show on television, it's still a great time. It's still got a lot of loyal fans, and it seems like a joy to make.
I mean, I can't think the last time that I was this impressed with child actors. It's probably Super 8, honestly.
Yeah, those
when
kids are
Super 8
good.
came
Yeah.
out. That was probably the last time that I was like really enthralled
Those kids
by
are really good.
performances
To carry
of
the
younger
to
actors.
carry the piece is
Yeah.
crazy. To make kids carry your
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, they are the main characters.
Kid who
Like
plays Will.
Sure, like
Great.
Hopper
Yeah.
is there, but yeah, Will especially in this season. 'Cause, I mean, he was like really not in season 1. Basically, you
God.
know, he was in the very beginning, and then he was in the end, and he spit up a slug.
Yeah.
he spit up dart. And then that was the end of it for him.
He's like
but
the dude-
they put him like very much more in the center of this episode, and all of these events are revolving around him rather than being about him.
As they should. Like, that's
And-
what's great.
and
Again,
It's like
It's
The
fucking
Hangover.
great.
It's exactly like The Hangover.
Yeah.
Like
The
Doug
Hangover.
goes missing or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck. I haven't
Stranger
seen.
Things.
And then he
is
was not in the
exactly-
series ever again.
Yes, like they removed him
Yeah.
altogether. But
My
yes-
wife says I can't hang out with you. I don't know if that's the reason, but that should be the reason.
Oh, yeah.
Is that true?
We're talking about Strange IT.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling like weirdly. I don't have like it's hard to do seasons of things because it's so episode to episode. I could tell you what I did and didn't like.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's hard for me to go back because it feels silly when you're talking about it as a whole. When I ended up after this, when it ended, I was like, I love this story and this world. Like, this is so my fucking thing. And all of my hesitation in my heart that I feel towards really just giving myself to this as a fan has to do with how popular it is. And I know
Right.
I'm really trying to get over that because it's happening a lot lately. I'm seeing too many people, and I know you have like beef with Rick and Morty.
You know what?
Objectively.
You are a member of the Harry Potter fandom. I don't want to
Yeah.
fucking hear it. You're like, oh, I'm just afraid people like it too much. Also, 33 and a third quarters station, whatever.
Nailed
I'm
it.
trying to think of like a Harry Potter thing.
Platform
The
nine-
Horcrux.
platform 9 and 3/4.
Yes.
All right. At a certain point, though, Harry Potter is a different animal. Of like, it's like Star Wars. I
Right.
don't know.
Exactly.
Like,
You're right. It's so big that it's like, it's like Marvel or anything.
and I'm
It's
by
it's
no means.
yeah, multi-billion-dollar franchise.
I'm not ingrained in the what you could put in brackets the Harry Potter fandom. Like, I'm not in that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You know what
I
I
wouldn't
mean?
associate him.
I
with
have
that.
seen printouts of every one of these "Which house are you?" quizzes that you've taken. I've been tracking your computer history, man. 56 is a lot.
You know, it told me
It's Ravenclaw, okay? It's
told-
fucking Ravenclaw. Just accept it.
It told
Which
me
Death Eater are you?
Hufflepuff first.
Really?
Yeah, I was first. First time I did it, put me in Hufflepuff, and then I took it some other time, like a couple years later, and it put me in Gryffindor.
You're not even magic. We're not
Yeah, it
certain.
was like,
you
dude,
have
you're
no
a human.
no powers.
That
You're
would
a
be
fucking
the-
muggle.
I want a realistic Harry Potter interview where it's like,
I'm surprised Clickhole hasn't done that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Which-
you're not
Yeah.
a wizard. Go home.
Yeah.
No wizard at all.
No matter what you select, that is what you end up with. Wizards aren't real. You
This is a
real, you
place for
fucking idiot.
wizards.
Yeah.
You're gonna get hurt.
I just said wizards aren't wheel.
Wizards on wheel.
Wizards aren't wheel.
Oh, they're very real, son. They're very real.
yeah, but
oh,
I
how
guess-
about that face that Will makes
Oh,
when he's in
dude,
the field
yeah.
and they're burning the burning the fire?
And he's just like fucking
Yeah.
spazzing on the
Yes.
ground.
When you nut. But she keeps.
Stop burning it.
Oh man.
I want to meet that ADR for Cloverfield, dude. Whoever chose for the fucking creatures to go. Amazing.
In Cloverfield though, that was so unsettling. Like,
Yeah.
it was funny as shit, but
It
like
worked, but-
it made you. It felt like a gross bug he didn't want to come near you.
Sure.
Fucking the Grinch noise when he puts the mistletoe on his ass.
Like something if you heard it like flying around at night when you're trying to go to sleep.
Like that's incredibly annoying.
God, but what I was getting at was I'm trying because I'm seeing it happen now with too many things. Maybe it's more that this is just like the second one after Rick and Morty and me feeling this hesitation and this wanting to disassociate myself from it because it's become bigger and it really is just the thing where when you see people. We fall victim, I think, as much as we criticize when people do this. I do think that us in our group also have that my nerd dick is bigger than yours, but I don't necessarily mean it as a nerd dick thing as much as when you watch someone like something that you like, but they don't appreciate, they're not liking it in the same way you do.
Oh,
You're like,
absolutely.
you don't even know why you like it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? But that's literally what we're doing. That's what this podcast is.
It's like I need to be cool. It needs to be shown, but I just need to show a little bit of it,
And
just
if-
like a little bit of shaft
It's like
in a
it's,
tasteful way.
It's like
I talk about video games for a living.
You do. That's pretty fun. Your nerd dick. Nobody would question Your nerd dick is wrapped around us right now. We're keep warm.
But it's not like Steve's dick though.
No, Steve's got that huge dick.
No, Steve's got
Yeah,
that.
he's got the big
You ever
dick.
see that dick where
Yeah,
like he's
yeah.
on the cliff?
It was 60 feet.
I liked where when he was fighting off the Demodogs,
Yeah.
and he dropped the bat for a second, so instead he just
He
whipped it
whipped it,
with
yeah.
his dick, and it went flying into space.
all
You
the,
remember that?
all the
The
kids
dog-
are climbing
yeah.
up onto the thing tied onto the truck.
car.
It's his dick.
It's his
that
dick.
they're
It's his
climbing
dick.
up.
That's
Yeah.
how they get out. Yeah,
Yeah.
because and it was cool because he had so much of it that he could leave it behind.
There actually isn't a big, spooky shadow monster in the sky. It's actually just Steve Harris.
Yeah, it's his dick. Yeah, just
It's
wrapped
Steve's
it.
dick.
It's just
you know,
being
yeah.
twisted around in the air.
And he goes, "Oh shit, sorry!" Right at the end.
It got
like
attached to an airplane. The airplane was like doing a fucking a show.
It like pulls in like a tape measure. Just
like a vacuum cord.
wrapping.
You know, like those-
They hit the button, the cord just comes in for the other room.
Fucking slaps back. Christ.
didn't go
man.
that fast.
God damn.
But what was I getting at? So I'm trying to just to allow myself to love it because
Steve's dick?
yes, and because I feel this hesitation, I'm like, I don't like dick, like I just don't like dick. But then
look at it.
But then you look at that one and you're thinking, wrap me head to toe.
Wrap me
I
like
want to
a
be
mummy.
tied up. I want you to be a magician, and I want to be your assistant. With
Saw
that
me in
dick.
half.
Yeah, it's like you saw me. I don't know. Don't people use rope tie people up in a?
You guys can't see this, but I was just
Giving me like this
squinting at them.
disgusted look
What are you getting at? Magicians don't have dicks.
for every.
No, that's true. They have to get rid of it because it interferes with their magic.
That's
Yeah.
where they keep at the Magic Castle. If you go there, it's just like a bunch of. It's like
different
Men in
dicks.
Black lockers, but with dicks.
With the dicks in
like
them.
keep it forever.
Yeah. What were we getting?
I have
don't
no
remember.
idea.
No, okay.
I really don't
I'm trying to
remember.
get this thought out so
I'm so
fucking
sorry.
badly.
I derailed
want
everything.
to allow myself to love these things that feel like they're being taken over by people who like it on a
Shitty
surface
fandoms.
level. It's not even necessarily shitty fan. I feel my hesitation with it becomes when I watch people talk about. I'm like, it's the thing of you don't know why this is good. You just like it, and you're not even really digging into what made it so good or appreciating how hard it was to make it the way you like it.
Yeah,
and
you're just
that's
like,
a
I love
stu-
Steve. He's
Yeah,
cute.
Yeah,
Which is fine. That's
and
totally a
fine.
fine
I
way
don't
to
know
like
why-
it,
yeah,
right?
It's not. It doesn't make me want to tell those people you're wrong.
But it makes me not want to like hang. I'm not gonna hang out with those people.
Exactly. You don't want to associate, and it's the Rick and Morty thing where it's like you're sort of like, I don't know. It's if you were in a group of people and everyone wanted to wear purple shirts, and you're like, I love purple shirts. This is my favorite fucking color shirt. And then you started going around and being like, so why do you like wearing purple shirts? And they're like, 'cause it's red. And you're like, what? And then you ask somebody else, and they're like, yeah, I like my purple shirt because of how red it is.
Right.
And you're like, oh shit, everyone's gonna think
They're all stupid.
Everyone thinks that if I'm wearing
And
this
then
purple
everyone
shirt,
starts shitting in their hands and hurling it around, and everyone's like, "Damn, people that like purple
Yeah.
shirts are fucking like shit throwing idiots."
they don't know how
You're
colors.
like, no,
are.
no, no, and then you're wearing the purple shirt, and then you know what? You're associated.
But it's stupid. That's what I'm getting at. Ultimately, is like,
Yeah,
who gives a
just
shit. Let
yeah,
yourself.
let the shit.
dude. Life is short.
It's fine.
You're gonna die
Still wearing the purple
sooner
shirt.
than you think.
You're now very sick because of all the shit we've thrown
That's
around.
a
We
threat.
credit lots of.
I can't wait to get on my airplane tomorrow.
No, but it's probably true that I think everyone probably dies sooner than they think they're going to.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine so.
I don't know that. I mean, that's probably not true because I'm sure there's some dude who like made it to 90 and he's like, "Fuck, I was positive."
Yeah,
in
oh
the
my God.
80s, I was done for.
I mean, hey,
So what's
man.
it like to live to 90? I've watched my son die. All right, cool. Here's a cake.
Oh, Jesus.
What's it like to be 100?
All my
what's
friends
it
are
like?
dead.
I know no one else on this.
Yeah,
earth.
what's it like? Dude, that's what people talk about. Like, being immortal would rock for like 80 years until everything you've cared about is
no,
gone.
I really think, and this
Also,
is,
like, how are you going to get an ID? You know what I mean? Like, you're 20 and you're actually, like, you
I
got to
would,
falsify documents every 30 years.
yeah, okay. Here's immortal without any external powers and nothing to really
Oh,
protect
yeah.
you. That would
You can
that
put in
would
a
be
coffin,
difficult.
it's over.
That would be difficult. Yeah, that would suck. But yeah, wow, that's scary. I don't like to think about that. I like thinking about immortal, where also like you can do magic and shit,
Yes, absolutely. I
and
mean,
like you work at this school called Hogwarts. That's how I like to think about being immortal.
okay.
What were we talking about?
Sure.
This whole thing is just.
Do you want to talk about
so
Hopper?
fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah, we actually we haven't
Hellboy.
really
He's
talked
good.
on Hopper at all.
really and he's another one of those ones where it's probably performance, because otherwise he is just the grizzle cop who fights supernatural forces and is like, for fuck's sake, and smokes a cigarette, and
He's the dude from Jaws.
right.
But there's definitely a softness to him that doesn't feel insincere.
Yes.
They build it up and make it believable enough. He's a very strong character.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry, Matthew Modine, is that the actor?
Oh, I actually
I don't know.
He's
Matthew
good.
McConaughey.
Yeah, he's the
Matthew
new
McConaughey.
Hellboy,
Yeah.
right?
He is the new Hellboy.
Nick, who's the new Hellboy?
Which is great.
What's his?
Matthew Modine's the guy from the other season, for the evil guy from the other season. His name is
Fuck.
the sheriff.
David something. Harbor. There we are.
Yeah.
Harper plays Hopper?
Now David Harbor.
Harbor plays Hopper?
No, Harbor plays Harbor. No, Harbor plays Harbor.
Bumblebee tuna.
My little nipples went to France. Oh, whatever.
This one has gone.
This is a good one. I'm really enjoying this.
I told you. It's because I haven't seen you guys in like a fucking year.
We're too loose.
This is the first time I'm doing this.
There's
Like,
not
I
enough
love this.
pressure.
This is good. This is going to get us all kind. They're going to be like, these guys are loose cannons. They're discussing films, but you know what? They're not like being stuck up about it or nothing.
The problem is
I don't think these are a bunch of stuffed shirts talking on the mic right
all
now.
of us feeling comfortable enough to for 12 minutes talk about Steve
Steve's dick.
Harrington's
Yes.
dick.
Steve
that's a
Hangloton.
bond. That's a bond that you build over, like 12 plus years of friendship
Steve
or whatever the fuck we're getting to
Yes.
now.
Oh man,
Steve's
Man.
dick weighs a ton.
yeah, Harrington. He's got that. His,
Hairy tongue.
he's got that hairy.
Steve Harry Tongue.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Bring it back in.
What were we about to say? Hopper.
Yeah.
Like him a lot. He's one of those dudes who, when you watch it, you're like looking at him and you're like, nah, I'm not a
Sure.
man. I'm not a man. I just,
he's-
yeah.
ship is sailed.
Nice and,
He's
nice and
just like
fat.
such a fucking dude.
Thick. He's a thick man.
And he
right?
loves,
He's not fat,
he
though.
loves his new daughter, and like he's such a sweet.
And I've
like
seen
he-
the criticism of him being like abusive, but I don't know, because they address it at the end.
Yeah, I
where he
mean,
says like,
that's-
"Look, I made a mistake, but I do want to protect you, psychic girl, who's the most powerful person."
That's what it's that fun thing of, and I was watching whatever that show is that's on Netflix where it's like
Beyond
Stranger Things, right? And they're talking about putting
haven't
when they
watched that.
first.
I should
You
watch
should
it.
watch that, by the way, because it's essentially it's a several episode press junket where they can talk about the spoilers and get into like it's DVD behind the scenes, but
Okay,
it's
cool.
long,
Yeah.
but there's different. You get to hear from everybody. It's cool.
It's hosted by Chris Hardwick.
Netflix has not paid me. No, it's hosted by the guy who's the is he the guy from fucking Community? The
Joel McHale.
no, the principal.
Oh, the
dean.
fucking.
Yeah. And wasn't he like the principal in like a Disney show or something? I cannot remember his name. You know the dude. You know who he is. Like you absolutely know him.
Fuck, what's his character's name? I don't remember. The
Doesn't
name.
matter. But
I haven't really watched Community. either,
Regardless,
because
it's
I
very
don't
good.
watch TV ever.
You need to watch.
But it's
Community.
cool 'cause
It's
in-
required watching.
Like from episode 1, they start talking about how did you start this season when you sat down? What were the things that were like up on the board in the writer's room where you're like, we know we need to get here? And they're like, one of the things was definitely the dance. We knew we were
Yeah.
ending with this dance. We knew we were getting blah, blah, blah together.
And second, everything needed to look like a pussy. Every single thing. The dogs needed to have pussy faces. The final image of the gate closing needs to be shaped like a pussy. And I also
and who can
yes.
forget?
They're really wearing the Giger like sex organic image, like horror imagery on their sleeve. Like everything is very slick and slippery and remarkably pussy-like.
Tim, do you want to fuck the Demogorgon or what? Because it sounds a whole lot.
Demigorgon. Oh, I thought her name was Demi Gorgon. She was just so looking so good. Jesus. I thought she was the breakout character for me.
Demi Morgan.
Demi.
Perfect.
Yes.
I'm doing Demi Moore.
Demi
but
Morgan.
looks
Yes.
like a-
Somebody Photoshop that, please.
It's probably out there. I'd have a hard time believing it.
Strange
I don't know.
IT.
Does she really pop into most people's minds these
But
days?
yeah, and also like the vines were outrageously phallic. Like everything was definitely pulling on
Steve
that.
Harrington's dick. All the
Yeah, I mean,
his
yeah,
dick
oh,
coming
absolutely.
out, yeah.
See, that's the light and the dark. There's the duality. There's the good long, good long
dick.
meaty vine, then the bad one. You know, we've always had that.
It's classic storytelling.
But anyway, I'm sorry. What were we even talking about?
Hopper. Being cool.
Yeah, being cool.
Yes.
He's cool. He's good. I like him.
Oh, they're like the rules of what had to happen in the show, where it's like we want the dance.
And they started, and when they were talking about putting 11 and Hopper together, they all got really excited because they were like, oh, we know for a fact these two, like, I'm sure they will get along. They need each other and they're gonna be comforted by each other. But like if they have a fight,
They're very
it's gonna be
contrasting,
like a blowout.
Right.
And as it was, I was so happy, dude. The superpower tantrum was sick. I mean, like, I love that, and it was one of those things where you're like, oh, I like when I'm watching two people argue and you get why both of them are yelling at each other. Because sometimes in movies, and I for what it's worth, I didn't quite like. I think I understood it, but I didn't quite feel the same way about it at the end when what the fuck's his name? When Mike is yelling at Hopper. I didn't quite feel it as strongly as I did when 11 was. But yeah, that was just good. That was powerful, and that was that thing too.
The
where
scene was played
just,
differently.
You
though.
want them to make up. You just so badly want both of them to just actually say what's going on with them.
That's the most frustrating device in all of movies when two people are misunderstanding each other and it causes the problem of the movie.
But this is why it's different though. Is that it's a character thing. It's not a misunderstanding. It's that both of them are not able to articulate exactly what it is that they're feeling.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you're like, I get it. And like when he comes to the door the next morning and he's like, listen, clean this shit up. And he's like, you're like, he wanted to, but he didn't want to let the guard down. He still felt like he had to be strict dad to keep her into the cabin.
Sure, and the whole thing about him and his daughter, and they kind of touch on it at the end. And yeah,
I love it.
I think we got to pack this in. I think we're hitting about that time. So I think we're going to do a 3-headed critic. Seth, have you ever listened to the show?
Yeah. I'm subscribed to your Patreon. You
really?
piece of shit.
Oh, thank you so much.
He doesn't even know who his patrons are. You guys should all just get your $5 back.
How am I supposed to know who my fucking patrons are?
Because it gives you a list of their names.
Yeah, it literally says who they are.
Maybe next bonus we'll read that list of names, and I'll make somebody in the witness protection program. The mafia says, listen to my show. Hey, okay, so we're going to do 3-headed critic on Strange Ting Season 2. Tim, Dom, Seth, okay. There wasn't
any
stranger things
in
this
one.
So
I
jerked
Steve
forever.
We are literally
capable.
We hit 14. We got to 14 years old, and it stopped everything that could have been. One more.
All right, I'll start again. Go this way.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
Once
upon
a
time
there
were
several
stranger
things,
and
then
there
were
less.
So
I wrote
this
letter
pleading for
more
stranger
things. Wait.
2.
Where did we end up there? Period. Wait.
Once upon a time,
there were stranger things, and then there were less. So I wrote this letter pleading for more stranger things.
2.
Fuck me.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Jesus Christ. Thank you very much for listening to Reasonable Beef. Thank you so much, Seth, for being here. Seth King, Achillios. Seth Achillios King.
No problem. I flew all the way from Korea just to do this gig.
Just to do this podcast. Yeah, you just did BlizzCon, the Overwatch League. Do you have anything to plug? Do you have anything cool coming out people should look out for?
Hey. Follow my Twitter.
Yeah, follow his Twitter. At Achillios, ACHILO.
ACHILIOS cast.
.com/reasonable beef.
/reasonable beef. But, if you like video games and you want to listen to someone talk about video games and you just happen to like League of Legends and Overwatch, then perhaps I could help you with your problem.
He's got a voice of gold. Voice of gold.
That's actually my casting voice.
The real one, yeah.
It's like, so once I get on mic, it's like, I can't wait to cast a spell. They get the powers. Look at him go. He's purple now. Truly, this is the League of Legends.
I've never done that, but I did do like a nature documentary one time.
Really?
It was a fucking slaughter. It was like SK Telecom was like best team in the world at the time versus like this brand new team who was just sponsored by a hotel in Korea. And so like they're just
we're the best Western nightmares.
Yeah, like
we're here to take you down.
I mean, it was so bad. Like they were just getting absolutely destroyed. And I was like, the only way to make this interesting to the audience is to just talk like like it's a lion stalking a
That's
gazelle.
hilarious. Is that on Twitch? Is that a VOD?
Yeah, it's somewhere out there. I'd have to pull it
Yeah,
up.
Google that. That sounds really funny. Do you have anything cool coming out?
I got this this sick new remix of Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. Goes like
Back to School, episode 3.
Can we go back for another take on that? Oh yeah, sorry. I messed up a little bit. Sorry, because when you said you were coming to the studio, we thought you were gonna like bring all the instruments because you sent it. This is just.
I am the instrument.
Sorry, I'll just one more take, please.
And then the whole score comes out of his mouth. All the layers and instruments.
These truly are. Wait, these truly are Stranger Things?
Yeah, who did the music for this?
Oh, that was the
Duffer Brothers. Shoot, I forget.
That was Prognosis. That was Prognosis Elite. You know,
Yeah.
that old '80s band.
No, seriously, do you know who did it?
Yeah, it was fucking Delta Kennel.
www.patreon.com/reasonablebeef if you liked what you heard here for whatever reason.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I did this.
That's to support the show. $5 gives you access to bonus beef, which is a somewhat monthly topicless podcast. This month we did one on like various nerd shit, talking about Japan and anime, and that was really fun. We talked about the infrastructure, the sound infrastructure, Game Boys. Are you okay? And we also did one where we talk about sleep a lot. That one's mad fun. So please, if you like this, go to Patreon. And also send emails to reasonablebeef@gmail.com. We'll read them.
You saying bonus beef like that really got me. I don't know why.
Bonus beef.
Oh, Jesus. I said I would read an email this week, but I don't have my phone with me right now. So we'll just do it on the bonus. It'll happen. Look at the emails. We need to stack a big stack, and we'll do an all emails fan appreciation episode.
Big set.
You want to record me doing that so you can just play it every time?
What?
It's like, and then you know, subscribe on Patreon, you get your bonus beef.
Bonus
beef.
I can't.
Sunday.
These come out on Wednesdays.
We do record on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
So that will work.
Fuck it.
Goodbye.
Sure.
Later.
Kids' seats are still just 5 ducks.
Dude, what the fuck?
Need to bring 5 live quacking ducks to the arena.